here. See what Southern Empire force is attacking here. Skolder Broda. I would love to pick up a mercenary force here. And Regia with the gigantic fucking army. That's more than we can tackle. Let's see what she's got for troops here. 700 infantry. That's more than our whole army. 100 elite cataphracts. This is our Lord Retinue up tier mod going to work here. Look at how strong her force is. It's just 74 Dark Hands and a bunch of Khans guards. So let's do a recap here. I'm going to start this episode. In fact, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related, but especially advanced battlefield command and tactics. So we took Poros. I'm not actually sure where my last episode is going to cut off, so I'm just going to give you a detailed update. The enemy, Southern Empire, declared war on us and took Oneira. Obviously, they're attacking us here at Vostrum. We are also at war with the Northern Empire, and I may have declared a kingdom too early. That might be an understatement. We are now at war with the Southern Empire. Fortunately, the Khazate is attacking the Aserai still. It's beautiful. They're just driving in on the side of the Aserai here while we fight them down here. Now, Razi is also under siege. I'm probably going to try to get down there because the garrison is starting to starve. So that it actually makes sense to go there for two reasons. First, I can't attack this force of Southern Empire. It's just way too big. And I got to mention this guy. We did make a little, what are they called? Clan, an additional clan, right? I assigned this mercenary of mine. She's now in charge of a new clan within our kingdom. This is also probably too early. It cost influence and gold and whatnot. It cost at the time half my influence, but I just wanted to do that process. I probably shouldn't have just because of how early we are, but we have one little additional army here now. The Skolder Broda would be a nice clan to add. We haven't added a minor clan yet, and their leader is nearby. Ethemisia, I think that's up here. This is under getting raided. Of course, the Southern Empire fucks are raiding their own villages. See, these are all Skolder Broda, but I have to find their leader, and it says he's up by Ethemisia. So we're going to look for him because at this stage we badly need reinforcements, and we have plenty of money. I know it says we only have 376,000, but believe me, we have plenty of money. We've won a bunch of victories, and I have so much loot that every time now I go to a city, I buy or I sell to the limit of their gold. Like if they have 60 or 70,000 as Danustica, I sell it all, right? And we collect all that money. So money's not an issue. We're already in the stage, even though we're only 3 years into this campaign, where money is, I don't want to say it's no object, but it's not a very important object. We need troops. So we're recruiting troops. I'm looking for this minor clan badly. And excuse my voice, I'm just recovering from a cold. There he is. There's Volg. All right, so we got to chase this guy down. Of course, he's running away as fast as he can. Don't go anywhere. Just come our way. In fact, every once in a while, they'll come right at you. And of course not, right? This campaign, we couldn't get a break by actually getting a minor clan to join us. So I guess it's all us again. We're just going to have to do our best here. This fuck right in front of us is raiding. Now, this is where I wish you could execute, guys. We're going to try to chase this guy down. Let's release our attack dog. This gal here, she's got a bunch of cavalry, even though she's disorganized for a few hours. I think once she gets organized, she's a savage attacker, and she's going to run down this fuck Southern Empire guy that was raiding us. And then, of course, we'll join the battle so that she doesn't suffer many losses. She's gaining medicine skill. This gal's cranking out babies. This awesome gal. She may not be a lot to look at, but in Bannerlord, that doesn't really matter, right? She's just cranking out babies. I heard she's a great cook, and of course, she's chasing down enemy fucking raiders. That's the kind of wife I'm looking for in Bannerlord. I don't know about you guys, but that's literally on mymatch.com, right? I'm looking for a gal who cranks out babies, has good medicine skill, and also destroys the enemy raiders. So we're overstaffed here for troops, which is fine. Like I said before, we're in desperate need of troops, but I also want to dump some of these lower level ones, right? We can dump some on this other companion, but I think we're pretty close to that capacity here. We're going to head down to Razi and see what we've got going on. Now, again, I'm not going to play this campaign out a lot further from where we are. We're about 3 years in. We've made our own kingdom. We're cruising right along. We're probably too far playing it too fast and loose. Ordinarily, you would be a vassal for a while and rack up a huge amount of gold, rack up 2, 3, 4 cities before you did what we did, right? Declaring our own kingdom. But the moment was right. You'll have to check out the previous episode if you want to see kind of the thought process, right? We had a very devious, savage process of fucking our suzerain Aserai forces over before we declared independence. And we're starting to move along. Now look at this. I can get peace cheaply from the Aserai, and it'd be incredibly expensive for the Southern Empire. But we're not going to do any of this, right? I'm just showing you this because this is what I would do if this was a real campaign, do or die. You would simply sue for peace with the Aserai and then turn all of our wrath on the Southern Empire. They just took Bostrom. But I'm not going to do that, right? We're going to take our number here, our 666. My character almost looks like a devil, too. He looks like this mean, red-eyed, savage Aserai character. We're going to take our devil force down here and see what we got. And what we got, it looks like, is 2 large Aserai armies. So the press is on, and I knew this was going to happen, right? We fought some smaller battles so far. We kicked their ass at Huss and Folk. But now the Aserai are turning their wrath on us with a vengeance. That said, the Khazait's driving in on them. The Vlandia's on the other side of the map attacking them. It's pretty sweet. We've got a little bit of help here, and we've got a good army. We're definitely going to engage here. This is not going to be an easy battle, but these are one of those things like, you've got to kind of earn your place, right? We're going to let the garrison whittle them down a little bit. I've got no upgrades to do. These are rites of passage, right? These are like the Aborigines in Australia, where they do a walkabout and try to survive for 6 months or a year on their own or whatever the fuck they do, right? These are the kind of things as a young kingdom you've got to do. And even though it actually says we're close, we've got militia. This is going to be a very hard battle. We've got high-end troops, but so does the Aserai. Again, we have this Lord retinue up tier. I have that active, and what that does is it makes the enemy troops much, much stronger than vanilla. Hence why Regia had like 100 elite cataphracts. That's not a thing usually in normal Bannerlord. I don't have enough captains here to stick somebody on the 3rd. So I got a crossbow division, the 4th. And at this stage, I fought on this battlefield now a half-dozen times in this area. I apologize if it feels redundant. This is an important battle, though, for this campaign, so I am going to keep narrating and broadcast this. I've got 2 cav divisions, the 8th and 2nd. I've got this shock division, the 3rd. So we're definitely going to try to surround and drive in on the enemy. This 3rd division doesn't have all shock troops, but it has a lot of shock troops. We can give him this little clan leader. But I'm going to have to kite here, right? I've got a significant amount of archers. Now, if the enemy doesn't attack us, we will simply surround them and drown them in ammunition. And here's an option I can try, right? I'm going to kite, but I'm also going to try a protective ring at the beginning because of all their Aserai Ferris. We have a good amount of Aserai Ferris, but I bet they're going to have more. We're outnumbered, and don't forget, not just outnumbered, but like 100 and something of our troops are militia. Obviously, those guys are going to have paper army and dissolve like paper in water, right? It's just going to be bad. So we're going to have to do the bulk of the work here with our strong forces, and I think we're going to run this ring defense at the beginning anyways, to try to withstand the barrage of their Vanguard Ferris. Now I can separate one division here. I've got this 4th division, although these guys are going to get cut to pieces as well by flying javelins. And I can give them the first. Let's do the 6th infantry. At least they can square if I have to. I really don't like the setup for this. We're fighting basically we're outnumbered 2 to 1. I know it said we're outnumbered by like 50%. It's more like 2 to 1 because of our militia. And again, I don't have my normal elite army from the campaign. In my deathmatch campaign, we would just wade through this force. If this was a 300 series, we would wade through it. But I have an army here of 900 troops. Some of my companions have low-level troops, and on top of that, we have 300 troops from this city that are garbage and militia troops. So this is well, we'll see. We may even lose this battle. Now they are sieging. We can retreat if we need to. Right, that's one of the advantages you have when you are the attacker. If you're starting to lose, you can literally just say, you know, retreat and run your troops away. And unless the enemy has troops nearby that run you down, you can usually get away. But we can't really afford to retreat in this situation, right? This is our backs are against the walls, well, of the wall, the only wall. In this case, it's the Aserai wall, right? If we give this city up, what's next, right? They're just going to keep on marching. They'll head to Danustica. They may get reinforcements. Of course, they capture all these units that are in this city and castle. We fought hard for this castle in the first place, or city in the first place, so we're not giving it up easy. So I've got the 1st Division and that shock troop division towards the front, with the idea is if they charge in with cavalry, we will unleash those guys. They've got a lot of horse archers. Of course, crossbowmen shred horse archers, so we're letting rip bolts here. I'm going to do my best, of course, to pick guys off, but I've got to watch my health. Very frequently, I'm bouncing back and forth between this campaign, my deathmatch campaign, the 300 series. All of a sudden, I'll realize I'm running around like I'm level 50, just fucking playing He-Man, when this guy is killed by like one good stab to the chest. So I got to kind of try to remind myself that this guy's quite mortal. Nevertheless, though, I'm going to have to fight in this battle, I think, for us to have a chance of success. Let's pull these guys back here. Let's get them in a square. This crossbow division is, of course, getting shredded. They've got Cav just running all the way through both of these divisions. They haven't entered the circle yet, which is good. You see our archers are working over there. My javelin skill is really flagging because, again, I'm playing Zuvan one day, and then this guy the next. I think it'll be easier when I start my campaign in earnest because I'm not gonna do any other active games while I'm running the campaign. I'll be focused on it, and of course, hopefully my skill level will be commensurately better. So we're going to pinch this infantry as they enter the square. They've got way more infantry, and it's tough infantry. It's Aserai, legionaries, of course, with that Lord Retinue mod. And we've now surrounded them, but this is like surrounding 3 great whites in the ocean. This may not go well still. So we're charging with both flanks here. Our cavalry is basically there just to absorb javelins and arrows from the outside. I'm going to have to attack with the archers here. This does not look good. This doesn't look good, fellas. You guys haven't seen me lose many battles, but I can, you know, we've obviously got a nice bag of tactical tricks, but look at this force we're dealing with. This Palace Guard, and I try to come through here and change the battle, and it does like 16 to this guy and 2 to that guy, and you guys are like, yeah, it's about time you experienced what I'm experiencing in my campaign, motherfucker. This shit's hard. I agree. I concur. In my deathmatch campaign, we have an incredible army. That certainly makes things easier. But we're not giving up yet. Fuck you, Aserai. Right? We dig in. So we're going to start to kite. I should get reinforcements. In fact, it looks like I just got reinforcements. So let's try to pinch and destroy this Aserai infantry here. Their reinforcements are going to come a long ways away, and these guys are directly between our 5th archers and infantry that poured in as reinforcements. This is one of the benefits of kiting. So we're going to surround them. I've got a cav division that I'm following. We're going to drive this infantry reinforcement wing right into the belly of this Aserai force, right? Sword to the kidney, as Napoleon said when he was pursuing Wellington. Or no, he was pursuing a minor general, a minor English general. The 5th Corps, we can move the archers back into range and have them pound the enemy, and we're going to try to cut off this Aserai infantry here before they can regroup. Fuck you guys. You're not making a home. Of course, these guys annihilated our 3rd and 1st Corps. But we've got them on the run now, right? This battle's going back and forth. They got lake rats, as if their army wasn't strong enough. I wish I had some lake rats. Here I am fighting the main kingdoms, and they got fucking mercenary help, and we have nothing. I got 2 archer wings. Let's split this infantry. Let's get a 6th Corps. Let's divide them. Let's give both these archer wings a protecting infantry wing. I can give 1 division. Wow, there's 7 cav. I guess I could split the cav, but I don't want to. Let's see what the enemy does here. We obviously destroyed their initial vanguard, but it took some of our second batch, right? Some of our reinforcements. 150 horse archers? I don't know how the enemy has so many horse archers. Maybe I've been fucking up as Aserai vassal here by not recruiting more horse archers. I will be experimenting in my campaign. Of course, one of the benefits of a campaign is if you lose, it's usually not over. So we will definitely be trying more and more of the Aserai units. A lot of times, and guys acknowledge this, I tend to ignore horse archers when I have like an Aserai or Imperial force. I don't think we will be in the campaign. I'm not going to be using them like Khazate, where I know that you can just butcher everything, but they're highly versatile. They can shoot, they can play defense, they actually fight okay with their shield and sword. They're one of the very few horse archers in the whole game that has a sword and a shield, right? They can actually block, shield wall, dismount, play as halfway decent infantry, and of course shoot. They can trample people. So the enemy again is coming in. They got a lot of archers in this wave, but they got 133 infantry, and we're going to try to bait them. Over here, we're going to counter their cavalry by charging with this infantry. Our infantry is no longer elite. We've got a lot of militia. I can't remember what my unit prioritization setting, so we might be getting our weakest troops right now. The square is getting enveloped, which is good, because these archers are pounding the enemy attacking it. But we also just don't have a lot of elite troops, right? We've got our companions. Our main army was very strong. But our companions' armies are fairly weak. Of course, they can't afford elite units. I've got to start spreading some money around. In my campaign, I'll talk way more about that, about subsidizing and boosting your companion armies. That's a vital part of a strong campaign. The archers are absolutely scorching us, and I don't really have an answer for this. I mean, they have like 100 archers here just fucking hammering us. Look at all these fucks. I'm going to have to deal with these guys somehow. I got to drag cav through them. That'll slow them down a little bit. I've got 40 cav in the 2nd Division. These archers and infantry can be told to charge here. It's a little bit of an F1, F3 situation because these archers shooting nonstop will be the death of us. Still got a handful of guys left in the 5th Corps. They're on the other side of that valley. That's good. Now, sword and shield actually plays out pretty well for cutting down archers, right? Because you can obviously protect yourself and then cut them down with your blade, and you're vulnerable for a second or two. Now, Mr. Goldfish is probably in the background saying, fucking use your spear, dude. My skills suck. I need like a tutorial from that fella. Realistically, what I need is practice. But I just figured this campaign was not the time to do that. I'm still uncertain what the final character spec is going to be for my Aserai campaign character. We'll see. Okay, so we've got some elite troops here. Let's press them right in on the archers, not in a square. Shield wall. Get them up there in a hurry. We've got a chance here to annihilate all these archers. Get up there, boys. God, I see a lot of militia on our side, not theirs. Of course, they have no militia. Well, Yuha goes flying, so we pick up this guy here. He can't run away. He gets cut down. Who's next? Give us a guy that's not getting fucking cut down, please. This is, what is this, a veteran infantryman? So he's got some javelins, a spear, and a sword. These guys are actually really good. These are some of my favorite infantry. Everybody knows I prefer the wildling to everything else, but I think these might be my second choice. The fact that they can jump on a horse. I see a horse coming here. Throw a few javelins. We can do some major damage with those. You can hold your shield up and then fire a javelin, just kill guys left and right. And of course, they've got pretty good armor and solid melee skills. He sounds like a dipshit. Nobody would follow a leader that sounds like this. That's one of those imperative things, as well as being tall. Unless you're a beast like Napoleon, humankind is still a primal being, right? We tend to follow tall people, even if they're bad leaders. There's a whole psychological study, repeated studies based on that, where women even choose tall guys that are fucking inferior over shorter guys. It's kind of a strange thing. It's obviously a very primal thing. Women seem to want like a protector, or maybe they want some guy that can get shit off the top of the shelf in the kitchen or something like that. It's obviously a combination of things, but a lot of it's biological. I'm a big student of that side of sort of, I want to say anthropology, but I'm sure some college fellas, college majors and shit out there are going to make fun of me. It's basically the study of human sociology, right? How we act, how it's related to evolution. I am a believer in evolution. I apologize if you're a creationist, highly religious person. I'm not trying to offend anybody. But I think it's really interesting how the human animal operates. It's not that different from the chimps in the jungle. It just, we've got fucking cologne and an iPhone. All right, we've got the enemy pinched here pretty well, but we are in absolutely fight for our life because we have militia, we have less troops. We do have 2 archer divisions and a cav division. And these infantry are in a fucking brutal fight here. Our guys are getting cut down. All right, what do we got here? I got this archer division up top. We need to have these guys at different triangulations. That way, the enemy is sort of forced to charge one. They are splitting a little bit here, but they're not charging one of our archer divisions, which is good. I've got these 33 cavalrymen. We'll be using these guys to sort of distract. Hopefully, they can throw some javelins. But the main strategy at this stage in this very close battle comes down to not getting killed, stabbing guys left and right, and trying to kite with these archers. Every time they turn their back to me, spear in the back. Actually, these archers, let's charge. Hold fire and charge. Let's try to annihilate one of these infantry divisions. We can support them a little bit here because if they can annihilate this, they're going to have tons of runway in front of them to shoot, right? Lots of green grass, and the enemy will be shot to pieces. They got 188 guys over there sort of messing with our cavalry. Okay, most of that infantry is destroyed. Let's destroy these last few here. And then I think we're going to try to start kiting and killboxing this last 200 enemy troops. Man, this is a tight battle. And this is a vital battle for us in this campaign. Of course, I'm not playing this out, but I'm competitive. I still want to win battles like this. There's a lot of recruits, fortunately, so they don't have shields, right? So these guys are going to get pounded by our archers. Now, that 4th Corps, there's a lot of crossbowmen just holding their shield. So those guys will probably attack at some point. Just because they're useless, standing there with their shield. But before we do that, right, we're going to soften, right? We're going to, of course, these guys are all blocking like they're Jet Li. Get the fuck out of here. A bunch of recruits, and they're just elite warriors. Yeah, see these guys? They're on fire away, and they're just standing there. I think this is going to work, though. Our archers are working, our master archers. I don't know how many we have left, but they're cutting these recruits down. I see bolts flying all over the place. This guy, like I said, these are nasty units. I've done this once or twice before in other battles. Man, when you get an Aserai veteran infantryman, stick them on a horse, they're fucking savage. They're like, I don't know, I almost like them better than a cataphract. The enemy's starting to waver here. I think we have this battle in hand, and a tight battle this was, right? This was definitely won by the absolutely shortest margin. We probably have 100 troops left, or 50. That's one of those situations. If you F1, F3 at the end of this battle, you lose, right? Your troops all charge their and move up aggressively towards their 200 infantry, and you lose. So this is another classic example where tactics are essential. Of course, you guys know that. Don't worry, I won't spend the whole fucking campaign trying to convince you guys that tactics are necessary for Bannerlord success. You guys, if you're watching this channel, you guys are aware of that. There's probably some channel that says something like Tactical F1, F3, right? That's like the name of it. And he's like, this is what you do, fellas. You hit F1, and then you look down on your keyboard and hit F3. And then victory, man. Fuck yeah. I am obviously making a little bit of fun of the F1, F3 folks. Mostly, if you're using F1, F3, if you're watching this video, the bottom line is that it's not that complicated to do tactics. I think most guys, if you watch some videos here, if you see some on some other channel showing tactics, I think you guys will have success. And there's a big reason I think you want to use tactics, and that's satisfaction, right? You get so much satisfaction from doing tactics where you face a superior foe, where if you were to F1, F3, you reload the game, you do tactics, and you win. You know, what you're doing is playing the game in what I consider the correct manner, right? You are taking a situation that's difficult, using your brain, problem solving, trying to figure out a solution to it. And then when you have success in that situation, man, it feels fucking great. You get a rush Obviously, it fires off all the dopamines and other shit in your brain, you know, of success. Your ego grows, right? You edge one step closer to being a fucking narcissist. But ultimately, I think it's a better way to play Bannerlord because you guys will have more satisfaction, more fun. Part of the reason that societies, advanced civilizations all across the world are unhappier than 200 or 300 years ago is that we don't have enough positive aspects in our life from our lifestyle, right? Guys work in cubicles, guys do jobs that are not fulfilling, not rewarding, and then they wonder why they want 9 beers when they get home and eat a triple XL pizza. They wonder, you know, why that happens, right? These guys we're just not fulfilled by our current fake society, working in fake cubicles for bosses who don't give a shit about you. It's challenging for the human psyche. So at least you can repair some of that with Bannerlord. Go out there and do some tactics. And I assure you, once you start having success with tactics, you won't mind some of the other stuff so much more because you're getting a nice little dopamine boost or whatever else the brain, I don't know what brain chemical it is that makes you feel better after achieving something. You will get that feeling, though, in Bannerlord. Got a few upgrades to do. We're already to 278 riding. This guy's kind of becoming a badass here. He's still kind of weak on the weapons side, but, you know, we're getting there. And it's on now to attack Regia, right? She's up there rampaging in the northern part of this. We're going to go see what the fuck she's up to, chase her down, and hopefully acquire some dopamine, right? After we trash Regia. Maybe we'll try to pick up her number afterwards, right? When our wife is busy taking care of the 6 kids, we'll go up to Regia and be like, hey, what's up? What's up? So you're a prisoner. You interested there, honey? What do you think? Our empire is growing. I got a big old beard. Nobody fucks with me. I'm like 6'5". We got lots of money. What do you think? Sup? Right, we can do a little bit of hitting on Regia here. Of course, we have to win battle first, right? That's going to be the hard one. Now, I am going to do this, right? This is basically a step you would take in a campaign. We're going to have peace now with the Aserai, and of course, they're willing to pay us even more money now that we've thoroughly whipped their ass. So we'll restock some troops here at Danustica and see what's going on. Now, this is slightly purposeful, this stall, because I want her force packed with elite cataphracts and whatnot to be worn down a little bit by this castle. Now, you fellas know, most of you fellas know that you can just jump into the city or castle and then auto-resolve and usually have success where you wouldn't ordinarily have in the open field. I probably won't do a huge amount of that in the campaign, although I will definitely show some fellas, show you fellas, some of those kind of things you can do in Bannerlord. Some guys don't consider that an exploit, just jumping into the city, auto-resolving. Unfortunately, the auto-resolve is way too strong for the defender, and we are loaded up here with troops to give this a shot. We're going to give our companions some troops, but to finish that point, that's certainly an option for you guys, and I do, at some stage during the campaign, I want to pass down those kind of tips, right? I'm gonna show you some other little tiny exploits that are what I consider legal exploits, right? Like, I'm not going to be entering battle with a bunch of archers, shooting the enemy and then retreating, starting the battle again with full quivers, shooting and then retreating. We won't be doing that kind of garbage, and no cheat codes or anything like that. But what I can do for you guys is sort of give you some options if you're struggling at a certain point of your campaign, like this, right? We could enter this castle. And I'm confident with our 600 troops, we would lose some troops entering. This Southern Empire force for sure would be captured. You know, we would be able to hit on Regia and all the other things. Instead, we're going to engage in combat in the open field here. Now, I am going to let this castle wear down her forces a little bit. She still has 94 elite cataphracts, cons guards, and a bunch of other shit. We're going to kill this raider fuck down here. And we're stalling, right? The process of auto-resolve, the same way it's successful for you jumping inside a castle, it's also highly successful even for a mediocrely defended castle to wear down the enemy, right? They'll achieve a kill rate of like 4, 5, 6 to 1. So we're stalling a little bit here. It's kind of an improv of what we will do in the campaign. chase down one of these two here. I've got my wife, who's my attack dog. I will be setting up a wife in the real campaign very much like this because I don't consider this an exploit. You're basically just separating your army a little bit like Napoleon would do, right? He would have an attack dog division, advanced guard, units with cavalry, Marshal Murat and his flamboyant dress leading one of the French corps, and oftentimes they would be cavalry heavy so that they could chase down and destroy enemy scouts or advanced forces of the enemy, right? He would look for targets of opportunity and destroy them. That's all my wife is sort of simulating here, right? She's got an army full of cavalry. She's eventually, in the actual campaign, of course, I'm going to spec a character to be really fast, right? You give them lots of scouting, you give them tactics so they can handle action on their own, and of course you give them lots of cavalry so that they can go out there unencumbered and fuck people up, right? You guys ever had problems with raiders? I'm going to show you how to deal with raiders. So this guy's coming back. I don't think we have time. The castle's down to about 100. Generally you have about 24 hours for every 150 troops to be beaten down at a defense. It's a strange mechanism, of course, because if the enemy's right next to you and you're attacking a castle, they cannot join. I know there's a reinforcement mod, but I don't think it's as effective as I'd like it to be. I've seen some weird enemy behavior, so I don't think I'm going to be running it for this campaign. And this is acceptable. This is extremely difficult, but this is winnable. 750 against 1100, and of course, again, like the previous battle, we have some weak garrison troops and militia. This is a map I've never seen before. That's cool. This is going to be a lot of fun for me. As a tactician, of course, this is like getting new presents. What we got going on here? I got my 6th division. There's too many troops in there. Let's reset it. That's more accurate. I think the archers are getting clumped in there, probably because the main character leading that division is an archer. The game does weird stuff sometimes with your divisions. I've got a 4th corps. That'll be, again, a square. These third corps badasses, of course, that's our two-handed axe-wielding motherfuckers. That could almost be the name of my shock troop division. We've got to shrink this crossbow division. I want the primary archers to be in Yuha's, the main character's army or group. That way they move fast. He's got a banner that helps him move fast. We'll have 2 cav wings. I'm going to put the 2nd right here in front of the 4th. And we'll do a shield and shock approach, right? So 2nd cav there, 3rd infantry behind them, which are all those shock troops, these badass two-handed mofos. Crossbow behind them with good line of sight, shooting over the cavalry. And that should be pretty effective. Get that 3rd tucked in right behind there. They'll still suffer some losses. Arrows will find them anyways. But those guys, any cav that charge there is going to get devastated. Over here, the 1st, 6th, and 5th as skirmishers, heavy infantry that will probably square in the 8th Corps. And then I have one horse archer. Again, I've kind of neglected horse archers, and I can almost picture you guys shaking your finger. Don't do that. So I will be experimenting in my campaign how to better use the Aserai horse archers. I don't really want to do it right now, of course, because I want you guys to have some reason to watch the actual campaign besides learning useless historical anecdotes. You guys are hopefully going to learn a little something about Bannerlord. Of course, I'm not... That is my favorite thing in all of Bannerlord, apart from maybe looters beating down Imperial lords. I can't even say it, I'm laughing so hard. Is when an enemy lord is yelling out a command and he gets killed halfway in his command. That guy was, units attack, and oh, you got fucking smoked by a javelin. I fucking love that shit. Alright, the cav onslaught comes. We know their elite cataphracts are coming in here, but now we can send these 3rd Corps, motherfuckers, right? We'll try to pen these guys up. Any cavalry that's not moving are dead men, right? All of a sudden they have palace guards fucking wailing away at them, right? They're either going to flee or get killed, and that's very effective. Shield and shock is quite effective. Alright, so their main vanguard's coming in, and it's a monster. That looks like 200 and something, got 215 guys. So let's get this shield and shock approach ready to flank these guys. We'll pull the 1st back in a square, the 6th skirmishers pulling those guys back, and I'm going to pull my archers over this ridge. I know they don't have great line of sight, but I got to protect these guys first and foremost, and I can ultimately pull this square all the way back within line of sight of these archers. The other thing, of course, we're doing is we're getting our units out of range of their archers. They got a bunch of horse archers here. The enemy, for some reason, has dozens of cons guards. It's a strange army mix, but that does happen, right, with units that are nearby Khazate. They obviously took a Khazate, some Khazate prisoners or Khazate city, and they acquired cons guards. They're fucking shooting me in the shoulder and shit. All right, so this vanguard is huge. I don't even know if we'll be able to take it with these troops, but over here comes the second and third. The enemy's splitting. This is interesting. So the second and third are coming in from the enemy's right. We're going to drag these guys right into the enemy mass. The first infantry is in a square here. God, they're absolutely zerging our skirmishers too. They're holding their shields up. Those guys can be told to charge. This army has lake rats too. I don't understand. I thought the Aserai had lake rats. I don't understand how everybody but us can have lake rats. Well, we'll see how effective that is. The second and third are coming towards the bulk of the enemy, but this is shock troops on shock troops, right? The enemy has really strong troops here. Of course, I do absolutely no damage. I just feel impotent. Thank goodness I can command a little bit. This is where if you don't have tactics, you lose this battle, right? Because your main character is not going to be able to kill 50 guys. I mean, maybe 20. Certainly not 50. I can't throw javelins for shit. His javelins just like they're limp dick. They go straight into the ground. Look at I can't even. They run away from him. Like the gravity just takes over. These are reinforcements. This cav division. Let's drive their archers back. This is temporary, but I'm going to drag our cavalry right through here, lop off some heads, and all I'm doing here is pushing their archers back. Right, we're going to be here for 10 or 15 seconds. Look how far they're back. They're getting driven away from the main fight, and then we're going to head back there and destroy the rest of that vanguard. Divide and conquer. So I'm commanding my units a long ways away. I'm not even going to try to tell you what I'm doing here. I'm basically just resetting some of the divisions so that we can make a combined attack here. Shit. One more run through here, I think. There they go. They start getting pushed away again. Botanian, Fiend champs and shit. Of course, our enemy is stacked. Fuck you. Infantry reinforcements are coming. Let's kill this vanguard. There's still like 100 of these fucks left. I see them just mauling everything. Fuck you guys. You guys can have some cavalry up the ass. Here they come, boys. Kill these bitches. Crossbow is fucking roaring here. Our infantry reinforcements are going to cut the enemy off, so that division is going to be annihilated. That was highly effective. And we've got ourselves a battle here. I was afraid at the beginning we were going to get routed. The way their vanguard came in there and just fucking blew us up. We'll split our infantry divisions here. I've got two good archer divisions still, the 4th and the 5th. They're coming up kind of piecemeal. Actually, their archers are coming up kind of aggressive. I thought I told you guys to fuck off. Well, you don't listen, you get cut down. You guys have all experienced that. Don't worry, the struggle is real. We've all swung our sword very deftly at a sergeant crossbow or any other crossbow and had them duck coincidentally while they reload. That's a thing. Don't worry, it happens to all of us. If you're new and you're like, damn it, man, these crossbow keep juking me. They're not juking, it's just accidental. All right, they've got a bunch of cav here in our midst. I'm going to prioritize this while the rest of their units reorganize. They have some units that are sort of trickling in, but the bulk of their units are ways. You can see it almost 200 units away. So we're going to seize this time here and destroy this cavalry. This cavalry is a significant threat to our archers, even though it's mostly tier 3, tier 4. You know, you hear them stabbing guys. You can hear that, that's the spear going through one of your archers. Obviously, that's a problem. Most of them are being killed. Cons guards are being killed. And now the enemy infantry and archers are starting to come up. Let's pull our guys back here. Again, we're going to do an enveloping process here, but I don't have very many infantry. Our army is mostly archers now, horse archers, and cavalry. I don't know if we're getting more reinforcements, too. We might be down to it. Here they come. Fortunately, these are mid-tier infantry. These are no longer, stacked legionaries and whatnot that they had in that first charge. We can charge with our small infantry divisions here. Try to break them up with our cavalry. Try not to get killed here. That's what I'm trying. Archers can both attack. The crossbow and the 5th Division can attack, and we'll just keep dragging this 2nd Division right around on the enemy. I think we got this shit. Come on, boys. It's bloody fighting, that's for sure. There's going to be a lot of casualties in this battle. Down you go, Fiend Champ, motherfuckers. Swinging my fist in defiance. The screen just turned holy green. Let's get these cav facing the direction of these archers, and we're going to drive them right into the enemy. Shield wall and follow me, boys. Those are reinforcements. So we still have enemy or allied reinforcements coming in. This battle is ours. The enemy's fucking reeling here. Victory. Man, it's satisfying. This is definitely a battle we lose with F1, F3. Instead, the enemy is fucking running as fast as they can for an exit. We got recruits up here at the front, probably from the militia and shit at the city. You know, some of the lowest level troops have entered the battle, and these guys are like, fuck yeah, man, this is fucking great. Combat is sick when the enemy runs. Look at that recruit. He's trying to stab guys. It's fucking sweet. All right, a big sigh of relief. You know, commander in a battle like this, obviously this is our kingdom's at stake. Now, we weren't going to get captured like the previous battle. We could just run, right? This is a situation, and of course I'm using the RTS mod right here. Please don't, no more cheater accusations, guys. He's cheating. We've used cheat codes before, sure. I've done things to give us various skills and stuff like that for tests. I don't even remember the episode, but basically we boosted some stuff for a morale test. But this is just the RTS mode, friends. We don't need to cheat when you have tactics, right? We don't want to cheat, right? Obviously, otherwise we would just enter the city and have it auto-resolve, right? So, unfortunately, there's still some guys out there. If they can't do something, they just assume that you can't either. You know, I've done kill boxes where we had 0 casualties, none. And guys are like, clearly, you're using a cheat code. It's like, did you watch the battle? The enemy never even reached one of our lines. How can they kill us? But alas, you know, some people are just, they're just disbelievers. They're obdurate. And anyways, I'll move on from that point. So we're going to wrap this episode up as well as this pre-series here. I don't know if it doesn't really matter. I can put on some of this nice gear here. It's probably Regia's army or armor. Wait, is that her? She's escaping? No wonder I didn't see her in the battle and she wasn't taken prisoner. So we will try to run her down here. I'm releasing my wife. Tack dog, sicker. She's probably going to execute her based on what she heard. Some of the rumors of my interest in Regia. I imagine things are not going to go well. And it's interesting. My wife won't chase her. It's almost like she's like, I'm not fucking getting anywhere near that. I'm definitely not about to let you put that gal in handcuffs. Who knows what'll happen? It'd be polygamy city if that happens. So, anyways, I digress here. We're going to wrap this episode up. Of course, we're also going to wrap this little mini-series up. This is, I think, 6 or 7 episodes of this pre-campaign. This practice here, the main intent of this was to essentially re-establish a baseline of skill in the early game. I've been concerned about it for a while. I've had by far the most requests for me to do a campaign sort of from the get-go, and we are going to do it from the get-go. I'm probably still going to have a stall period intentionally to make the other kingdoms more mature. We shall see. I will probably go along with requests as well. It'll be lightly modded. We're not going to do Realm of Thrones and stuff like that. I apologize for those guys who want that. And obviously, I'm hoping to be able to share some of these skills with you guys, some of the ideas, some of the strategies, some of the various different things that I've learned. I am not incredibly versed in the early game, as you guys have seen in the last 7 episodes, but I hope you guys forgive me for the mistakes I make and maybe give me suggestions, right? If you see failures that I'm making in this next campaign or in this current campaign, please speak up. That way guys that are watching this trying to learn don't learn incorrectly, right? That's one thing we obviously want to do, is transmute correct information. That's a real problem today in society, and I don't want to be part of the problem. I want to be part of the solution. So with all that said, I'm going to wrap this up. I am going to take a little bit of break between the end when you're watching this episode and probably the first episode of the actual Aserai campaign. It'll probably be, if I had to guess, somewhere around Halloween time, which if you don't know, that's around October 31st. I'm still going to fart around a little bit with the Javelin only series, which will sort of be a little off the cuff practice as well for the Aserai series. But generally, I'm just going to take a break and come back refreshed. Hopefully you guys can forgive me that, and indeed I will be posting continual videos on a regular basis because we have videos and content, quite frankly, saved up. So I appreciate you fellas. Of course, if you want to see more, you obviously want to subscribe. You get daily notifications when we have new material. And obviously I appreciate if you guys would hit that like button, leave any comments, or if you want to flame me because I talk too much, too fast, too many swear words. All of that stuff is fine, fellas. I got pretty thick skin. We can do some more historical stuff in the future. I appreciate you guys. Don't feed the trolls. There's a handful of trolls. We'll just keep those guys on ignore. We'll move on. And with all that said, friends, I will talk to you fellas next time.